It's game day, Seminole fans, as Florida State, number 2 in the country, gets ready for number 10 Louisville. First road test for DeAndre Francois and the Seminoles this year. We're your Nole Insiders, Lane Hurt and Tim Linnefelt. Let's get straight to our 3 keys to victory for Florida State. And we start with Dalvin Cook. Dalvin has had a great career against Louisville. In about 6 quarters of play, really. He has 277 yards rushing, 4 TDs. I think getting Dalvin Cook going could be a really key for this team.
Yeah, it's important. Look, it's important every week for Florida State to get Dalvin Cook, who's their best offensive player, into a rhythm. But I think it's especially magnified when on the other side of the field you've got Lamar Jackson and his cohorts that love to sling the ball around and score points. To me, getting Dalvin Cook on track, running the ball, controlling the clock, controlling possession, what was the old cliche whenever you were going up against Peyton Manning back in the late 90s, early 2000s? The best way to keep him in check is to keep him on the sidelines. To me, for Florida State, I want to see a methodical offense that goes on 8, 9, 10 play drives, chews up the clock, and ends with touchdowns. You take that crowd out of the game. The best thing you can do is, in my opinion, get the ball first, go on a long touchdown drive that maybe don't even need necessarily many big plays. Just get 5, 6, 7 yards at a time. Have a 7-0 lead with about 9 minutes to go in the first quarter, and everybody's quiet and headed for the concession stands.
It's almost impossible to put a performance up like Jackson has if you don't have the ball.
I would help. That's what I'm saying. Let's start there and see how we do.
Key number 2, of course, Lamar Jackson. He's been great through the air, but equally as good on the ground. He leads the team in rushing. Florida State held him to 32 yards rushing last year. He had success through the air, but keeping him limited on the ground, Florida State was still able to win that game and win it comfortably. So if you make him one-dimensional, you got to like the Seminoles' chances.
Absolutely, and again, that goes back to getting home on your rushes, whether it's the defensive ends, DeMarcus Walker or Josh Sweat or some of the linebackers. They send those guys on blitzes. If you get a hand on them, and you got to be able to get him and bring him down. What you don't want is him rolling outside the pocket, scanning downfield, and having the option of either taking off down the sideline or chucking a deep ball to a receiver who is broken free from his coverage. You got to just set your sights on him, corral him, and limit that damage. Again, he's going to get his, right? He's going to get his yardage, and they're probably going to score some points. But you have to minimize those broken plays, and to me, the best way to do that, drop back, have him scan down the field, go through his progression, and make the right read. And if he's able to do that, then maybe you tip your cap, sort of, to borrow that phrase. But I want to see him do that rather than get out and be able to improvise. And I think that's where he can really hurt you.
And finally, key number 3, the turnover battle. Look, it's early in the season. A lot of numbers are skewed because it's a small sample size, but I actually think there's some legitimate meat to this one. Louisville is -3 and Florida State's +6. That tells me Louisville's been fairly careless with the ball thus far, and Florida State's done an excellent job of forcing turnovers. Generally, those things tend to stay the same throughout the season.
Yeah, and it's not just the -3 ratio for Louisville. They turned the ball over 6 times, and that includes 2 games, one against Charlotte and one against Syracuse. And again, no offense or all due respect to Charlotte and Syracuse, but Florida State's defense is a different level of speed, a different level of athleticism, and you've seen what they were able to do against, you even throw out Charleston Southern if you want. Go back to that Ole Miss game against the Southeastern Conference offense, a fifth-year senior quarterback. And they were able to force 4 turnovers. And they're doing it in a multitude of ways, forcing fumbles on the pass rush, grabbing interceptions off of those pass rushes, and really changing the tide of the game. To go back to our first point, you want to take that crowd out of the game. You want to keep Louisville's offense on the sideline. Getting a turnover or 2, especially early, turning those into points, can really swing things in Florida State's swing things in Florida State's favor in a hurry.
Well, there you have it, Seminole fans. Biggest takeaway there is for you Syracuse fans. Tim thinks your defense is terrible. Sorry.
I didn't say that.
Maybe if they watch, maybe they can circle this one and save it for those players.
But maybe
in November.
Maybe Syracuse's offense could have done Syracuse's defense some more favors in that game.
True. All right, there you have it, Florida State fans. The Seminoles and the Cardinals coming up just hours away. It's going to be a great one for the ACC. We'll see if the Seminoles can get that win, and we'll have your analysis after the game. Tim Ritten will have our video highlights as well as your post-game reaction from Jimbo Fisher and the players. That'll do it for now. Let's get this one going. For Tim Linnefelt, I'm Lane Hurt. Go Noles.